I appreciate all the fans I had. Hate me or love me. You watched. That's all you could do. Thank you.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today we're bringing a battle that I kind of promised a long time ago, but I didn't get to it, and now we're getting to it finally. And it's actually a pretty crazy battle. I could definitely see both fan bases of these characters arguing about this in the comments. Make sure to smash the like button. Let's try to get this to 200 likes. This is Franklin Richards versus Legion. Both some of the strongest characters in Marvel. If they were to clash, who do I think would win? I'm about to break down both and then let you know how I think it would go. This is one of those crazy inverse matchups, and if you guys are a fan of those, definitely smash the like button and let me know in the comment section. Also, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the notification bell to check out the new content. But first, we're going to break down Legion. Legion being a character named David Haller, who, in short, is a mutant with over 1,000 personalities in his head, with each one of these having a mutant ability. He is the son of Professor X, which you know, obviously, off-rip would give him amazing potential, and we're going to get into what these different personalities, as well as Legion himself, have performed throughout comics. First of all, Legion is a character with the capability of deleting you entirely or erasing you from existence, to the point that when battling another personality and erasing them, he was erasing them to the point that even the speech bubble itself was getting cracked, which is crazy to consider that he has the amount of power to literally break a speech bubble, but he did that on panel. There was times in the classic era where some of his personalities that deal with the more elemental side of things literally took on Nova and instantly set him on fire, no problem. Nova, even in the classic era, easily being Thor level in terms of power, yet was getting ragdolled casually by Legion. When facing Storm, who at this point has much improved power levels. In fact, she's like taking on characters like Exodus no problem, and she says Omega level mutants have just reached like an insane tier of power. He has had no issue catching full-on energy attacks from her and just reverting her power back on her, like no problem. She got absolutely ragdolled. She was even strong enough to make Null notice her, but Legion just treated her like a toy. He has another personality included among the army of his. That would include a soul-snatching and enslaving personality. Basically takes your soul, destroys it, and also can like enact your powers and stuff that you had immediately. He can absorb and control Professor Xavier and others with these personalities. No issue at all. Professor X, being a character demonstrated to take on the Dark Phoenix on infinite planes of existence, as well as could take on Thanos, but as fodder to his son. He has also casually one-shot characters like Majik, no problem, with her powers coming from Limbo, an extra-dimensional realm. Time, in terms of conceptually, is absolutely meaningless to the likes of Legion and his power. He literally creates personalities, has personalities that play with time like a toy, can stop it, destroy it, run around in it, move throughout it, doesn't matter. Absolutely playgrounds time itself. He has multiple personalities among his form of Legion that can actually one-tap all of reality. That's how it's not just like one form of power he has that's insanely broken. He has power manifestation, and it allows for several personalities to essentially be universe, even multiverse busters, no problem. He was brought back by Majik to essentially take on the Elder Gods of Limbo, where she gets her power from, and he actually tapped the Elder Gods within Limbo using his raw power. Like, the fact he could just pull up on them and have no issue folding them is insane. Within the multiverses that he can create and manifest, he essentially can play pseudo-god within them. What I mean by that is literally, whether movement, awareness, traversing, fighting someone else. He has personalities that are aware of everything going on within the multiverse, so you can't really escape him and what's going down. He's essentially pseudo-god if you're trapped within his reality. He was able to casually absorb Moira and used her power, which, as I kind of explained, is used to create universes through sheer will. This is one of his more dangerous personalities that Legion absorbed, and its creation power through will and imagination is insane. We saw Legion learn of the potential return of Onslaught, who, as you guys know, fought pretty much everyone back in Marvel Comics, to the point that they essentially had a retcon due to his actions. He was that powerful. He was spawned from the hate between X and Xavier in their power as well. Was taking on the likes of Thor and all of them. Legion sensed this and was like, yo, bro doesn't scale to me. I'm going to pull up on him. You better let him know to back off. That's how crazy powerful Legion is in modern times. Back in the day, he would take on the X-Men with absolutely no problem. This would include the likes of Jean Grey Phoenix. God, I can't talk today. And she was, like I said, capable of helping contain the Dark Phoenix, as well as facing off with Professor X, even being proclaimed to be his superior as a psychic. And Legion treated all of them like chew toys. There was nothing they could do. In terms of his power and awareness as well, on top of his ability to use time as a toy, he can also completely see it. So essentially all the happenings within temporality, Legion can observe. From start to finish, he can see all things and how they happen. Because of this level of awareness, he could spot where he needs to go or what he needs to do within temporality in order to secure the W there, which makes him pretty hard to deal with in terms of precog. The concepts that are stated to be what forms realities and forges dimensions, realities, universes, and such, these conceptual things literally resist and reside on a conceptual level within the mind of Legion. Just things on a fundamental level that you would need to do to create universes, multiverses, all that. Those are things that reside within the mind of Legion. He has also outright created pocket dimensions and realities themselves, forging them simply from thought. And it's absolutely no problem for him to do this. He's even forged his own prisons there, which shows how strong the dimensions can be. He also can take on ideas forged by Onslaught, who I kind of already reviewed. He found, for example, an object of Onslaught within the mind of Nightcrawler and literally had no problem removing it and just demonstrating what it was. And the fact that he can like bully ball someone like Onslaught's crazy. He would passively tear apart reality if he did not constantly keep his power in check. Literally, he explained that if his body is left uncontained, like it just is not outright secured by a personality, his power would just tear reality apart. It would be completely folded. Nothing you could do about it if his body was left unchecked. What power you're looking at with Legion as well, he can control the astral realm entirely within Marvel and create infinite conceptual islands within it. We saw this portrayed with the Altar and the House of El, and he's created realms like this both for people to exist in, as well as him to have a place where his multiple personalities can reside in case he has to do other shit, right? And we've quite literally seen that in the astral realm and other realms and infinite realms. He can hold these realms in this realm itself while simultaneously doing battles with other things. That makes him an insane character to deal with in terms of power, and it kind of shows how broken he is, because he's literally doing this and battling other beings on like a conceptual level while maintaining realms. It's insane to see. He was also outright pretty much always above Professor X in psychic and psionic power. Like that never really was something within doubt. It's kind of outright stated and portrayed, so there's no need to like really expound on that further. It's just outright stated in panel. Nothing can potentially stop Legion from destroying everything. Essentially what that means is there is a statement that if Legion was left to his own devices, there would be nothing anyone could do if he decided to just outright destroy everything. So for him to be that broken in power, that if he just decided to, everything's cooked, crazy to think about. And he apparently has that raw power. He also has been confirmed at one point to have over 200 Omega level personalities. You got to remember, at certain points, what mutants have been considered Omega level? We've had Jean Grey, at one point Franklin Richards, Juggernaut, these powerhouses, and he has over 200 of those in his mind, which is insane. And as you know, with the altar, he can access them whenever. Jean Grey has outright stated that in the presence, just in the sheer presence of Legion, he is so powerful, so overwhelming, that she couldn't function. She just shut down. She was like, no. That shit, in terms of presence, was just too much. I just can't even function at this point. I need a nap. Like, she was done. She was cooked. Elder gods and literal embodiments of evil, as explained by Majik, are nothing to him. She brought him back to slaughter the elder gods. She said, she was terrified of them. The amount of power they have, what they embody was insane. But the god mutant, she proclaimed him the god mutant. She said his power can shred them. Like, they're done. And she brought him back because of how broken he was and how she knew he would scale above even elder gods. Nothing else in reality was stated to be capable of stopping these same gods. You could argue that would mean like Hulk to Immortal Hulk, to Juggernaut, to Hercules, to Thor, Doctor Strange, everything that resides in reality on Earth or is around it. Nothing could apparently stop these elder gods. Yet Legion was able to tear them apart. He has also, and it's kind of something that needs to be hammered down, he has fought on multiple planes of existence on several occasions, and he needs credit for that. Like, his ability to both juggle battles, conceptual planes, realms, existence, all that. It's insane. He's literally jumped through comic panels to continue battles, which makes him an insanely broken character. He's also completely just decimated Onslaught, tore him apart, bullied him. He brought him to his mind space, and it was superior to Onslaught as a concept. Like, the altar was just too much. We didn't get some crazy Onslaught return because Legion decided he was going to fuck that guy up. The Celestials, the modern Celestials, the ones that forged and created the Beyonders, they are above narratives, shit like that. They showed up to judge everything. They could judge the Phoenix, like Captain Universe, Starbrand, all these things. They could not judge him. He was a godling, a creator of things. His power was beyond their judgment. He essentially had to pass judgment upon himself. That's incredibly just crazy. On top of this, his powers lie beyond words, math, and logic. It's the unimaginable and the illogical. To specifically quote the passages, listen, there's a point past which words don't work. It is the sphere of the ineffable, the unimaginable. It is where my powers lie. That is one of his descriptions. And then there's another. Horrors of mechanism and math, alive with all the craft of a transcendent toy maker. These descriptions alone put Legion on an insane power level. On top of this, he also recently fought Uranos, uncle to Thanos, who has insane power. He fought him with literal multiverses of possibilities slamming on each other, concepts, ideas, imagination being fought on conceptual levels. He did all this and held his own while holding back. This is the same guy in Uranos that can pull up on infinite conceptual islands and nuke them, like with little to no percentage of his forces. So for Legion to do that while holding back is insane. Overall, Legion's one of the strongest characters in Marvel, and a monster to contend with. But then on the other side, we have Franklin Richards, who also has a case of being one of the strongest. Now, on the Franklin side of things, he for a long time was considered the mutant son of Franklin and Sue, but we find out he basically convinced himself was a mutant to fit in. He's not really a mutant, he's just a reality warper. But regardless, Franklin Richards is absolutely broken. So let's review some of the things throughout his history that make him crazy. Man-Thing, who resides at the nexus of realities, or the realities of, like, infinite realities of the Marvel Multiverse, has never seen such psionic power as Franklin Richards before. He knew inherently that this young kid who could literally alter reality and universes and shit in his own mind, he would be important inherently to, like, the Nexus, which is all things. So he helped him out. And it just goes to show how much potential Franklin had in raw power. I've seen people before contest that, like, Franklin's not actually multiversal, but we outright, like, know he is. For example, it's stated he has the power to destroy the multiverse, which I'll verbatim read. The Captain Britain Corps interceded when it was feared that the mutant powers once possessed by Franklin Richards, his powers, son of the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, and the Invisible Woman, might destroy the multiverse. So outright, yes, like, it's a no-brainer. Franklin's power is of that capability and ability. On top of this, his power and potential is outright stated beyond and above what Captain Britain has seen, which includes Scarlet Witch and Mad Jim Jaspers. And to be above those levels of power, which was threats to the multiverse and beyond, I mean, you guys know House of M, Scarlet Witch, that literally altered pretty much throughout all the multiverse and infinite planes of existence. Those levels of powers are below Franklin Richards in terms of what he's capable of. The Phoenix was stated upon encounters with Franklin, no matter what form he is, even as a child, the Phoenix is inherently fearful of his raw power. Like, the Force itself understands that the raw power of Franklin Richards is, at least in some way, a threat to it, which is pretty crazy. Johnny Storm, amped by Franklin Richards, was shown in one run to be able to literally fodderize and destroy dimensions pretty casually. And remember, this is just a little bit of an enhancement from Franklin. It's not even nearly all of his power. And to be able to do that to realities within Marvel is crazy. Annihilus has also stated outright before in an encounter that he has no chance versus Franklin with his powers. He basically said, in the presence of the child Franklin, you know, if he has his powers, I'm done. But if he does not have his powers, I have nothing to worry about. So for him to outright admit, like, yeah, he's nothing compared to Franklin Richards is pretty crazy. In terms of what else Franklin has done and with his powers, he's casually manipulated the power of Black Bolt and could fully control it, nullify it, handle all of his raw power, and thus convert it. You gotta remember that we've seen runs where Black Bolt's power and, like, raw power could kill Celestials and one-tap even Apocalypse. And so for Franklin to just casually put a box around that, manipulate it, it's insane. We've also seen in discussions he's had with Galactus that he can create multiverses and matched powers of creation with Molecule Man. Molecule Man, as you guys know, being someone whose powers have been used to fuel battles with the likes of Beyonders before and such. He can also warp and combat the Mad Celestials famously. He's taken them on by himself and survived, battling them alone, but he's also just outright warped them away when he needed to try to create separation for himself. For Franklin to be so strong that he's comfortable pulling up on Mad Celestials is insane. He literally, during the conflict, ripped through one with an energy blast. Like, just pulled up on it, blasted away with a cosmic blast, and ripped through it with energy. putting it on a t-shirt, which was insane. He also boloed a mad Celestial by just flying through it. That's right. These Celestials, by the way, which combined to make a Super Celestial to kill Galactus, they have that kind of raw power, yet they were getting torn through by Franklin. Although, you can note that when they were all starting to gang up, he was like, okay, this is kind of annoying. I'm going to want to help, make help. And this is when we saw that he was outright capable of restoring a dead Galactus. This would include bringing about a dead power cosmic. And this is a being, Galactus, that is like capable of destroying multiverses, battling across infinite planes of existence, all these things. He restores him, brings him back to help continue the battle against the Mad Celestials. We saw in this battle as well, Franklin could straight up take and survive blasts from these Celestials, throwing up shields and even surviving the blasts outright. Showing he was incredibly impressive in leading against the victory against the Mad Celestials. He's also, as a child, completely created and controlled a pocket universe. His sheer thoughts operating in a way that they could alter all of reality and universes. Kid Franklin also pulled up on Celestials and was able to turn blasts from the Celestials into flowers. Kid Franklin is that powerful that, not even thinking, he basically inherently turned them into flowers, made him something that wasn't a threat to him, which made the Celestials go like, what the fuck? He also, as a child, was subjected to psionic attacks and probes from the Celestials, and we saw that child Franklin was actually capable of repelling these thoughts. Like, he could survive them, repel them, and combat the Celestials, and tell them to go away when they tried to trap him in the mindscape. He can also conceive of realities similar to 616, and this is important not only because of the insane scaling of the 616 universe, but because in being able to conceive of these things, his thoughts alone can forge them, alter them, and change them throughout time. On top of this, Galactus has implied before, and hanging out with Franklin, that essentially him and Franklin have the same cosmic importance. They'll be there at the end of time, at the end of the universe, and they'll be there as friends to see the birth of a new one and the start of a new one. Galactus overall considers him just as much of a cosmic pillar as he is, which is pretty crazy to see. Overall, Franklin Richards has long been one of the strongest characters throughout Marvel, and again, someone worthy of the Battle of Legion. So, if these two characters were to square off, who do I think would win? First of all, both these characters are incredibly broken. I hope you guys enjoyed the review of both so far, and smash the like button if you haven't already for the hard work. But they're both incredibly powerful. However, I feel like the situation kind of changed. In the past, I probably would have said Franklin, but new comics have kind of put Legion on a different level, and where Franklin has the cosmic power and such that even could make Phoenix be fearful, Legion has power beyond what beings that could judge the Phoenix can do, and he has like the power of illogical things beyond imagination. And I just feel like they've kind of displayed his power being beyond the tier at which Franklin would be. I do feel like in the end, Legion would overwhelm Franklin, especially with the Alter being a new concept. Franklin is insanely powerful, one of the most dangerous powerhouses within Marvel, but Legion, I just feel like at this point, is a step above. Overall, I would say Legion would win mid to high diff. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think wins and why? I had a lot of fun making this. Join the Discord if you haven't already. If you want to be a part of my Fixing Fiction with Marvel, DC, and Naruto, hit me up on Discord to talk about joining that server. I also have other servers like One Piece and such. Definitely hit me up for business inquiries. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons. I'll see y'all later. Peace.